Though President William Ruto may not have made good on his pledge to ensure 50-50 gender representation in cabinet, champions of the constitutional imperative to have no more than two-thirds of the same gender in parliament are optimistic that there exists the political will for its realization. What remains, they say, is political consensus. This has seen members of the civil society change tune on the Constituency Development Fund and led the National Gender and Equality Commission to give assurances to those elected to the 13th Parliament that the law on two-thirds would not apply retrospectively.
I believe this is now a real constitutional moment, not those other constitutional moments that we were being told about.
9 failed bills later, there is now optimism that with a relatively new administration in State House, there exists the political will to effect the constitutional imperative that no more than two-thirds of the members of elective or appointive bodies shall be of the same gender in Parliament.
When I receive this political will, I feel like flying. In fact, today I was telling people in the morning, I want to laugh and dance. Our members of Parliament all of a sudden suffered something I did not understand. I saw some of them going out to the toilet. I was shocked.
President William Ruto, in a memo addressed to the Speakers of the National Assembly and Senate, has proposed several amendments to the Constitution that would see the Constituency Development Fund entrenched in the Constitution and the creation of an office of the Leader of the Official Opposition, all of which proponents of the rule of law say should provide sufficient enticement for the passage of the provisions on two-thirds.
I remember when I first saw the president's memo, I thought, oh my gosh, here comes BBI again.
These members of the civil society have, however, taken the view that should CDF adhere to principles of separation of powers, it is a fair trade. Civil society organizations, the Katiba Institute and the Institute of Social Accountability, have challenged its legality in court.
I've always thought that it is our political M-Pesa. As an elite in Nairobi, I think a professor would be an elite. I might not know what the people are going through, but when you talk to the people, they actually appreciate that fund.
The recent protests by MPs in Mombasa having demonstrated that CDF is able to engender political consensus and bridge the political divide. Political capital, an imperative, given even women in Parliament, would require convincing to advocate for the agenda.
And therefore, the sitting MPs should not feel that what we are asking is going to affect them. It is going to affect those who come after them.
The carrot as opposed to the stick, a novel way to approach the problem, given numerous court censures have failed to move the needle.
We had petition number 182 of 2015, petition number 371 of 2016, petition number 397 of 2017, and petition 401 of 2017.
But a compromise to apply the two-thirds imperative following the next electoral cycle would be an affront to the Constitution, considering former Chief Justice David Maraga advised former President Uhuru Kenyatta to dissolve the 12th Parliament for failing to meet the constitutional threshold, a fact President Ruto pointed out to the Speakers of Parliament in his memo.
The Justice Mativo was as brave. He said, let justice be done even though the heavens fall.
There is another hurdle to overcome, and that is on how many nominations it would take to meet the minimum requirement. President Ruto, in his memo, based his calculations on the 290 single-member constituency seats, a third of which would be 97. He subtracted the 47 woman rep seats, leaving 50, and went on to subtract the 26 women already elected, leaving a balance of 24.
I know when it comes to politics in Kenya, mathematics becomes a dodgy issue. People just don't know how to count, but we've been counting for 12 years. We will show you the maths.
He went on to subtract the 26 women currently elected, leaving a balance of 24. As part of his justification, President Ruto referenced the wage bill, but his computation has yet to convince all those invested.
If we had a worst-case scenario where we just populate our parliament with women not elected, we just nominate every woman to meet the two-thirds gender principle, it would cost 57 shillings per year, not per week, not per month, not per quarter, per year.
per tax-paying Kenyan. Women are creative. We know how to do a lot with very little.
Given the demonstrated excesses of the national and county legislatures, who continue to line their pockets on trips oblivious to the economic realities of a citizenry burdened with ever-growing tax demands, public sentiment could tip the scales.
50-50, that one we are still seeing through Viusasa.
Olive Burrows, NTV.